Hi, my name is Dodie, aka Fast Food Addict No More. I'm 43 years old. I had the duodenal switch on December 8th, 2017, with Dr. Alejandro Lopez at AOL Bariatrics in Mexico. I, again, my stats 43 years old. I'm 5'2", and my highest weight recorded back in September was 270 pounds. And my date of surgery, I was 248.2. So sorry, 242.8. Today is my 21-week anniversary, and I wanted to start holding myself accountable. I planned on doing a YouTube. It's helped me out tremendously, listening to stories and seeing what works for other people, and trying to apply those same concepts to help me through a stall. Usually, this is the time that a lot of people stop recording. So I thought it would be a perfect time for me to start picking up and um, giving some of my stories and what works for me, and just again, really holding myself accountable, something that I can go back through and look at as well when I'm struggling and look how far I've come. So, going back to stats once again, this first video I know is going to be the difficultest. Um, so nervous. I don't like to hear myself. I don't like to see myself. So, please bear with me if you do watch. So, again, 21 weeks today. From my highest, I'm down 82.8 pounds, and from surgery, 55.6 pounds, which is fantastic. My average weekly lost since the highest is 2.49 pounds a week, and then from surgery, 2.78 pounds. So I'm not a fast loser, but it's going steady. My BMI points, which is exciting, is down 15 points BMI since September, and then since surgery, 10 points. So I'm very happy about that. What's funny to me is I do see that I'm getting smaller. I still wear the same clothes that I wore pre-surgery. They're just fitting so much looser, and I'm so comfortable in those loose clothes now. Before I would squeeze things on, and um, yes, the butt's getting saggy in my pants, but my stomach and hips are still holding it up. And hopefully, I'll be going to buy clothes again soon. But I'm also grateful that I haven't had to. I can still wear what's in my closet and be comfortable, and not be self-conscious that they're too big. It's just the clothes are now fitting like they should, maybe just a little bit looser. So that's good. Um, just wanted to go over why I chose the DS, a little bit of a backstory. Um, I've been married 22 years. My oldest daughter's turning 21. My youngest is turning 7 next week. And I've just struggled with weight. My mother was heavy, and I've just always struggled. Over the last 6 years has been over 200 pounds, and I just have not been able to get below that. Um, I am today 187 0.2 pounds. It was the lowest that I've seen on the scale, and then comparing that to my highest of 270. So, that's that 82.8 pounds, and I have to keep thinking of that. Um, when I look in the mirror and looking at my stomach and hips, I'm still thinking, where was 80 pounds? I don't feel like I've lost when I'm looking at those areas. But then when I look at the big picture, how my clothes are fitting, um, and I am getting thinner this way, so I'm going this way. It's just my stomach is still quite large, and I thought that I was carrying everything evenly throughout my body, and I guess I thought I would lose it the same way. I'm not. I'm losing. My legs are a lot thinner, as well as and my lower butt, my butt cheeks. The hips are still there, as well as my stomach. But getting back to struggling with the weight, I tried diets, I tried different programs, going to health and wellness clinics, paying crazy amounts for, the special vitamin uh, supplements, and um, saying that I have candida, and getting rid of the candida would help with my overall health issues when doctors couldn't tell me what was going on. Um, those never worked either. And when I was going through those programs, paying the money to do it I could maintain my weight, but I wasn't losing maybe 5 pounds. Years ago, I did the phentermine. You guys might have heard of phentermine before, and it was successful. Years ago, I was able to lose 25 pounds in a month. And, maybe back then maybe I was 170, 180. Now, or a year ago, up to the last 5 years, I just have not been able to lose. It's been a struggle. Walking every day, getting that 10, 15,000 steps a day, watching what I eat. My husband's eating Big Macs and cheeseburgers. I might have half, or drinking tons of water, and he'd be drinking Dr. Peppers and Cokes, and I had given all of that stuff up, hoping that it would help, and I could maintain, but I was not losing and getting down to where I needed to be. So I just felt, one, my health was suffering, had a lot of, and my mental health was suffering, missed a lot of work due to mental and physical, just not feeling right. My blood pressure was very high, had sleep apnea. I just had aches and pains, and when I would go to the doctor, they couldn't tell me specifically what was going on. Had my gallbladder checked because I felt like I was having gallbladder attacks, and my livers were high, enzymes were high, and blood work was coming back, not really pinpointing what was going on. So I have just been hoping that just having the weight off would help tremendously, not only with my confidence, but mentally and physically as well. And it has, since I've lost the weight. But you want to know, about the duodenal switch. I knew that I wanted to have weight loss surgery before I had my last daughter 7 years ago, and the places that I worked at didn't cover it. So I knew that it was going to be out of pocket, or I had to find a different job that the employer health insurance would cover that aspect. One of my previous jobs, I did have, they had several of the employees that went and had the bypass, did start to get approved. And this was, again, back 17, 18 years ago. So it was fairly new. And a lot of those people now have gained the weight back. And so I knew that I didn't want to do that one. It was scary to me. I didn't want to go through all the problems, the surgery. I have a long recovery time, and I didn't want to. My pregnancies were tough, and I had a C-section, hysterectomy. I had a bladder sling when I had my hysterectomy, which unfortunately the mesh that they used eroded, and I had to end up going back in and having that removed a couple years later, and it took forever to find a doctor that diagnosed what that was. And I struggled for 2 years just being so sick, and nobody could tell me what was going on. But luckily that part's done. The duodenal switch was not even, I didn't even know anything about it. I did have my daughter's babysitter went and had the sleeve done in Mexico, and I didn't even know Mexico was an option. And when she went down there and came back and she told me about it, I was really excited. I thought, okay, well, this might be something that I can look into and actually save for when I had looked into having the sleeve here in Utah, where I live. The cost was anywhere from $18,000 up to $26,000, and that's self-pay. That's if I paid cash and they gave me any discounts. So that was just not an option for me. I didn't have that type of money, and of course the insurance didn't pay for it, so I had to come up with something else. The sleeve was very affordable. I had my best friend in high school. She went and had it done as well, a different doctor, and hers was only like $3,500 for the sleeve in Mexico, maybe even less than that. And so when I seen her and her success, I was, another push to it. She didn't know at the time that I had been watching YouTube videos and trying to research, and so it was just so good to again have another confirmation that Mexico is safe, the results were safe. So that was the path that I was going to go on, was to have the sleeve in Mexico. And the doctor that she was going with, or that she had went with, there was a lot of scare tactics around that doctor after. And so anytime I tried to research him, it was just all this news articles would come up about death rates, and certain websites that I go onto, like Bariatric Pal, would warn against this doctor. So that was scary. But my best friend went, had no issues. She had a great time, great experience. The babysitter had went to a different doctor, but there was another mom there that went to the same doctor that my best friend did. And she was down to a size 2. She had a great result. So again, that was just my confirmation to get to Mexico, have this done, start losing weight, and start getting healthy and happy again. And this, one of the sad things is I knew I was fat, but I didn't feel fat. Yes, looking at the clothes and looking at pictures, I didn't want to be in pictures because I was fat. And but I felt skinny, which is weird. I know a lot of people have talked about the not being bulimic. I was on the other side. I didn't want to see that I was fat. I knew growing up, I was always embarrassed. My mom was overweight, and I was afraid that I would be. And it's just, mind game. Where else did I want to go with that? How I chose my doctor. I started watching more videos, and then I started seeing more about the duodenal switch, or the DS. That was because of the previous diets that I had been on. I thought that was going to be my best option because I was not losing. I wasn't eating a lot either, and I was a little nervous about the DS, learning about the bathroom, things like that. But I didn't really think that was going to be an issue. I always had the other issue of being constipated, maybe going once or twice a week if I was lucky. And it wasn't a lot. I didn't eat a lot. Well, I've had the duodenal switch. I go 2 to 3 times in the morning, and then I'm done. I don't have to go again. But it's just amazing. I'm eating even less, and I'm going that much. It's a little TMI, but I guess the fat has to go out somehow, which I'm so thankful for. The couple of the YouTube videos that I had watched, the weight loss, or WLS convention that was last year, a lot of people started talking more and more about that, and so I started looking more into that option of the DS, and seeing the vitamin regimen, and just doing a little bit more research. Now that surgery here was even more than the sleeve was, and when I would try to research which doctors to go to in Mexico, there was just one doctor that kept coming up, and a lot of people really liked this doctor. Different Facebook forums and apps on my phone would recommend if I was going to go to Mexico with a DS, I had to go to this one doctor. And it was like $17,000. And that was still way out of my budget. I didn't have that type of money to do on, I didn't know if it was going to work. So I looked into doing loans, and I did get approved for some loans, but it was ridiculous. The pricing that they wanted to charge for those, the interest rate on them, that I just wasn't going to put my family through that and have it end up costing even more. I just knew that there was going to be a doctor out there that was going to be best for me, and it didn't have to be the same doctor that a lot of these lucky women had gone through. I picked one doctor, and then I thought I was going to go with him. He was highly recommended for the sleeve, and a few people have done the DS with him, but he did the loop. And one of the gentlemen that I started watching, he had some complications. And at the same time, I had come across Dr. Alejandro Lopez from ALO Bariatrics, and I just kept getting drawn back to that. The price was right on that. I think they $7,200 for the duodenal switch because of the problems that I was having